What's up, guys? Oh my goodness. What a week. Hey, say hi, guys. And where you're from. What do we got? Discover Insight. Oh, that is a good. I like that name. And that actually. Oh, Marian, what's up, baby? Discover Insight. I would say that that's a perfect explanation of my last 6 days of intense, amazing, deep transformation. What's up? How are you? Yes, Discover Insight. Ashley, hey, beautiful, from Chicago. Discover Insight, where are you from? Say what's up. Or tell me where you're from. Oh my God, you guys. And ladies. And powerful spiritual badasses. You guys are all amazing. Hi, hearts. Yay. So, I am relaxing today. This beautiful, I don't know if you can see, it's this like gorgeous resort down in Newport that this universe has graciously given me to stay for the last 6 days while doing public speaker training through Evolution with Matt Browning. Big shout out to him and the whole team, because oh my God. And if you guys put some hearts, if you guys, hi new people, put some hearts if you guys have ever gone through a transformational seminar, course, anything like that, or done any level of deep subconscious transformational work. And I've done a lot of them, let me just tell you. But oh my God, nothing, none of the courses that I've ever been to have actually come close to what this one was. So even though we were kind of, hi hearts, Patty, what's up? Gotta love the universe when she pulls you through awesome, life-changing, oh my God. And this was a big one. This was a really big one. Hi new people, say what's up. Hearts, yay, love you, Ashley. I gotta just say that even though it was for public speaking, right, which is something I'm very excited about moving into. For those of you that don't know, yes, I have a history of being in the entertainment industry, and the art of that is so beautiful, and it's allowed me to learn amazing psychology and emotional intelligence, but learning NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, of which this course is the foundation upon. And I've done their mastery course, and so that's where my certifications come from, and blah, 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 and all that fun stuff. All of the deep mastery courses of NLP that I've done, this one takes the cake. And so even though, yes, we were technically learning amazing skills on how to speak powerfully and inspire people from the stage, there was some really deep, just junk. And we all have it, right? Like we all have our baggage, we all have stuff, and there were some things within me that I had been burying since I was probably about 13, right? And then part of that was, or has been, holding me back from certain things I'm openly sharing. But this really dove straight to the core of it. And so unexpected. I was like, oh, okay. I'm like, I got this. Like, I can go into this, and with all of my background, I'm like, this is going to be easy, right? And what I didn't expect was to transform such a deeper part of myself. Like I said, a deeper wound, a deeper bruise that had been so layered over the years, and a deeper trauma. And to watch it kind of come up, I'm going to be real, like totally it was uncomfortable, as transformation is. And yet at the same time, when we can go through that, when we have like just the courage to like keep going when it gets uncomfortable, and we can feel that uncomfortability just rising up in us, and there's a moment where you're like, I don't want to do this. There's a moment where you're like, this feels like shit, to be real. And I had a full breakdown. Oh my God. Full-on breakdown. And it's those moments that when we can push through just to get to the other side and be willing to be in that uncomfortability and be willing to just feel it and move through it and let it actually change us and transform us, something absolutely miraculous happens. I regained a part of my power. I'll say it like that. That's what it feels like. A part of me that was feeling disempowered, that was layered under this wound. And it stems, like I said, back from when I was about 13 and went through a specific trauma around an emotionally abusive situation. And this just brought up all of that like I wasn't expecting it to at all. And I stuck with it and I dove into it and I felt all of just the ugh. You guys probably saw the picture I posted on Instagram. That was what it looked like going through it. Maybe a little uglier. There were some moments for sure that I'm like, I am not going to take a picture of this. Let me see who you guys are in here. Henrik, what's up? James, what's up? Just want to say hello. Busy DJing, awesome. Kick ass over in Vegas, sweetheart. Henrik, you're amazing. Patty, I went to a month of deep therapy work of self-enlightenment. Amazing. It changed my life and taught me how to try and like myself. Yoda says there is no try, honey. Being disconnected and learning these small traumas in your life. Absolutely. And so I can share, if that's all right, that diving into the education of neurolinguistic programming, for me, it's so much more than, most people consider, because it's neurolinguistics, right? So we think language, and for me, that's conscious language, right? And the things that we say to ourselves and how we say them, right? That determine our outcome, technically that determine our internal emotional state, because our words are very powerful. And so really to being able to watch your language and speak powerfully and know that what certain language will create in your subconscious mind, right? And so able to transform that. And it's really the root of psychology. It's really the root of understanding human behavior. And getting to that space, I feel like a lot quicker. And so that's what those tools have offered for me personally for my life. And that's why I love the work so much. And that's why I love when I work with other people. I feel like it doesn't have to take years of therapy to go through a transformation. There's an airplane. Can you guys see this beautiful sky? Oh, look at that. Awesome. I'm at this gorgeous resort where this is our last day, but today we're relaxing because the course was 6 days, 12 to 13 hours a day. So yeah, but ultimately, love your guys' hearts. Thank you. Ultimately, it's the tools that I feel like we all could use in order to dive into our subconscious, right? And what does that even mean, diving into your subconscious, right? It's like all the patterns and the programs that have been created within us ever since we were so young. And a lot of the times those are patterns and programs that we didn't know got created. And usually we created them because we were trying to protect ourselves from something, right? I know you know what I'm talking about, don't you? And we continue carrying those patterns and programs. They've served us for a certain amount of time. They've given us value. They've taught us something really profound. So I know, in one of the posts that I've put is that your pain is not in vain, right? So everything has a value. And yet we forget that when we get older, we get to keep the value. When we can find out what the lesson is, we can keep the value, but then transform the actual pattern within the subconscious so that we're not operating from that place of protection. Because operating from a place of protection means that you're operating from a place of fear. And if our goal, give some hearts if your goal is to operate from love and abundance and compassion and just consideration for all human interaction and just to spread more inspiration to everybody, right? So awesome. Okay, let me check in with you guys. Loving the hearts on that, exactly. And more hearts in the comments. So yeah, Patty, yes, I think therapy can be really profound. And how do we transform that quicker? How do we just dive straight to the core, transform that so then we can actually step into our power a lot faster? It doesn't have to take forever. I remember even working with just a beautiful, beautiful girl who had a really deep pattern, and it was inhibiting her ability in life. To really just show up powerfully and really have confidence and just stepping into that, right? So once we were able to transform that in 3 hours, right, then everything shows up available for her after that. I won't share who that is, but girl, you know who you are. So hearts, love it. Small traumas, Patty says, leads to giant traumatic. What does that mean? Small traumas lead to giant traumatic. I think is what you're saying, that in our subconscious, if we don't kind of transform those, then it can lead to giant trauma. Because yes, in our subconscious, if we keep holding on to fears, if we keep holding on to limitations, those can turn into phobias and deeper fears. And if a phobia continues going untransformed, then that can turn into specific different disorders as well. I mean, I'm diving into really the deep of the subconscious, right? So I won't get too deep on you guys today. But it's just I'm just so in awe of this work, which is why I'm so passionate about it. And I just wanted to share with you guys my experience over the last 6 days. Oh my God, because as much as I love supporting other people in this, we all go through our own. So it doesn't matter who you are or what you're doing in life to help inspire other people. We're all still students, and we all still have these multiple layers to work through. And I had one, with as many years as I'd been doing this, I had one that was so deep that I think I forgot about it, or I covered it up a lot because it didn't feel very good at the time. And it didn't feel very good unraveling it. But on the other side of breaking through, it feels lighter. It feels expansive. And I feel like I regained a piece of me that I had probably been suppressing unknowingly, right? So let's see, Henrik, sounds amazing to get free. Yes. Isn't that what we're all seeking? Do we want to get free now? Or do we want to get free in 2 seconds from now? So I think things can happen quickly. I think you can do something in a moment. And we have that power, and we have that ability, and we have that choice. Let's see. Discover Insight says, have a beautiful day. Awesome. Thank you, sweetheart. Dolly, who sparkles. Hello, I love your Instagram. Positive inspiration. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you. You guys are so amazing. I love this community. You're always so fun. Let's see. Hey, Serah, a part of your power. Amazing. Yeah. Lots of love from England. Awesome. Thank you, Tom Flatman Artist. That's an awesome name. Let's see. Henrik, yes, you do. So the picture, I tagged you. Okay, awesome. Let's see. Hey, Jana. More power. Yes, girl. Absolutely. Starbright822. Hello. Thank you. Windsworth. Hey, sweetheart. Lightning bolts. Love that. Lightning bolt to match my lightning bolt that keeps me energetically in line with my heart all the time. That's what its purpose is. Let's see. Henrik, I'm working hard with my subconscious and getting to feel better. Good. Awesome. Thank you, Serah, to inspire me. Oh, sweetheart, you are so welcome. I mean, if nothing else, that's my goal. I'm sitting on this beautiful grassy knoll right here. Let's see. Starbright just started reading a book. Osho, beautiful. Body, mind balancing, 100%. And I like to call it like spirit mind balancing. You know, that's kind of my tag on Instagram, because it is the spirit plus the psyche. which psyche by definition also technically means soul, which I didn't know until I looked that up. So our mind, what was interesting when I read that is our mind, through our hearts, right, gives us greater access to our soul. So it's not one or the other. It's not only just being in our heart. It's not only just being too much in the head, but it's really a beautiful combination of both and in the body. And that's what allows this beautiful soul and each one of your beautiful souls to be in the body. And being able to balance all of that, right? It's the psyche, it's the spiritual, and it's that's what leads us, I believe, to our greater inner awareness. You need the mind, you really do. But the mind can also hold you back, and that's where our subconscious patterns are. They're not in our heart. Our emotions are in our heart. Our emotions are tagged with our subconscious patterns. So whenever we have a subconscious pattern, let's say, of whatever our limiting beliefs are, right? The belief is a thought, and that creates then our emotions, and then that's how we have the model of our world. And that's based on our internal representation. What's true for us inside our mind doesn't necessarily, well, I won't say what doesn't make it true, because in our own minds, it is true. And so for different patterns, it's very real. And it's absolutely worthy of acknowledging that. But if it's something that's holding you back, if it's something that's making you feel like stuck, or not as confident as you could be, everything, absolutely everything, I truly believe can be found within a pattern in the subconscious mind. And like I said, then that determines our emotions, which then determines our whole perspective of life and what we think then. Based on our thoughts, our patterns, and our emotions, it's what we think we can achieve versus what we think we can't achieve. And this week, I'll be honest, can I be vulnerable? Can I share? Would that be okay? Awesome, hearts, yay. The first 3 days, I was failing miserably. I was failing absolutely miserably. I was in it hard, meaning like just in my head, in the just the ego, the chatter, the negative belief systems triggered by the pattern from such a long time ago. And I didn't know why it was coming up, but it was saying awful things. There was just like struggling for perfectionistic tendencies, right? And so I'll share that came from a time when I was 13, and I lived with my grandmother, who was emotionally and verbally abusive to me. And everything was my fault. And yet everything had to be perfect. Everything had to be perfect, her way, for her model of the world. And even though, looking back on it, I know it had nothing to do with me, it didn't feel like that at 13, right? Because everything then of what her model of the world was projected onto me. And this started coming up a lot, really heavily, as I'm just trying to do something and trying to make it perfect, trying to do good at it, of something I'd never really done in that particular way, right? So being in the entertainment industry, that's one thing. Public speaking, totally different. And I felt like I was failing miserably at it. I just fell flat on my face a lot of times. And thank you for the hearts on that. And I had the conversation of, you better get it right. You better do it perfect. How come you can't do it? Like, this was all the conversation inside my mind. And what I had to realize was that wasn't my voice. It was, right, because it's inside my mind. But technically, it was the voice from her of what she used to say to me. You better get it right. Better do it perfect. If you don't do it perfect, you better get up and do it again. Do it again until you get it perfect. And so when I wasn't doing it perfect, right, because we're never going to do anything perfectly when we're learning something new, right? But that was such a strong projected internal representation of that pattern right? And so it was almost her voice that was inside my head that continued to then be that verbal abuser, right? And I had to really look at that and really feel it. And all the emotions started coming up in me. And I was like, where is this coming from? Why is this so difficult? Why am I not able to just get it like that? Right? How many times do we sit that we should just like know how to do something automatically and get it perfect and get it right the first time? Like, how outrageous is that? And I didn't know yet where it was coming from. I felt the emotion. So I was feeling the emotion of the pattern first. I didn't have an awareness of why. And so that was still confusing. And yet I let myself sit in the confusion. I let myself sit in the emotion. I wanted to find out what it was, why this was coming up, where the root of this was. I get obsessive with that. I'm like, let me just keep digging. Let me find out where that source is because I want to get rid of it like that. So I sat in it. And I fully broke down with all of it. And I just let myself be in just not perfectness at all. And fall on my face 1,000 times. And when I did that, there was like this, it was like a memory, right? Like this flash of a memory just popped up into my mind of a time when I was sitting with her and that's what she was doing. And saying all of those things. Better do it right. Better get it just right. If you don't get it right, if you don't do it perfectly, you're going to get up and do it again, right? And I'm watching that in my mind's eye. Then I'm able to use the techniques that I've learned through NLP and through the mastery of it, right? And so I was able to look at it from a different point of view, look at my emotions from a different point of view, realize that at the time I had created that protective mechanism, right? And yet trying to think that I've got everything, that I've got to do everything right the first time, right? To a certain extent, that's given me a gift because it's allowed me to try harder in everything that I do. It's allowed me to continuously strive for greater excellence. So it's given me drive. It's given me that just, oh, yes, I want to just do this. It's given me that kind of empowerment feeling from something that was a negative. The difference is once I could then transform the negative inspiration, right, for needing to, or not needing, but that negative inspiration for wanting to do something well, because we can want to do things well, but it doesn't have to be negatively motivated. And so once I was able to pull back and look at it and transform that past behavior, past awareness, past experience, and past emotional internal representation, now I can I can keep the lesson that it's given me my whole life. I can keep that. You guys also, you get to keep that. When we go through transformation and release something, we keep the lesson. We keep the positivity that came out of it. We just release the old pattern that's making us do it from a negative point of view or a negative motivation. Does that kind of make sense? Awesome. Great. Got the hearts on that. I'm trying to kind of explain my process, but I'm sure you've never ever experienced this ever in your life, right? Going through whatever your transformation is. Doesn't feel good, but the point is to stick with it and not kind of suppress it even more, not try to bury it even more. Dive all the way in. Have the courage to dive all the way in, knowing that you have all of the ability to transform and get to the other side. And if you ever want help with that, you know that I'm here. But it's being able to step on that other side of the door, releasing those ball and chains that are just dragging energy down, and then you feel lighter. And then you can almost see things a little bit more clearly. And you can go towards your goals and the things that you want to achieve, your purpose, your passion, whatever that looks like. Achieving that, my other phone's ringing, hang on. Achieving that, right, from a place of an empowered state, as opposed to trying to achieve something from a negatively emotional state, right? Or excuse me, negatively motivational state. I think that makes sense. Does that make sense to everybody? Let me check in with you. Let's see. So let's see. Start reading. Okay. Very good. Well done. Awesome. Thank you guys for that acknowledgement, right? That's the game we're in. It's the game I'm in. I hope you're in there too. Let's see. Glad to hear you are the happiest you've been. Oh my God. Yeah. And just the other thing is watching. I mean, I didn't know what I looked like, to be honest, but watching everybody else literally going through the same thing. Like, everybody was having just deep breakdowns and huge breakthroughs. But then watching on the other side of it, like, they looked different. They looked brighter. I was watching other people and just like, wow, like it changes. Like, it's almost like the energetic field and makes it brighter. It changed, like everybody kind of looked like they got like a facelift. Even the guys. So, amen, sister. Awesome. Thank you, Laura. Let's see. Now I'm back. Problem with the inner. Okay. Let's see. When people ask me where I get my wisdom from, I say I have awesome spiritual guides. You are one of them. Thank you. Who's that from? Capture for Fun. Awesome. I so appreciate that. That's amazing. Thank you. And yeah, we all got spiritual guides, right? But I love that. If I can offer you guys any inspiration, then I feel like I'm doing my job, whether it's perfect or not. And really letting go of that internal negative self-talk of my grandmother telling me everything had to be perfect. Nothing has to be perfect. Nothing ever is perfect. That's an illusion, right? Let's see, Henrik, I understand because I use my old uncle who's worse in my relationships. Yeah, these patterns, these programs, they come from they get stemmed, right? Or the root of them are when we're young and we see how other people's relationships are and we see how they interact with each other. And I believe that just about every single relationship can have, until we like dive into really understanding like ourselves and how to treat each other and how to treat ourselves, right, with positivity. And like, we're really self-abusive. I don't think there's one single person on this planet that's not self-abusive. And what I mean by that is anytime you've ever said something negative to yourself about yourself, that's emotionally and verbally abusive. But those things get lodged in us from our patterns of how we saw the parental relationships, or whoever raised us, or whatever the interaction was when we were very young. And we take that on because when we're young, we don't know any better. It's like monkey see, monkey do. And we're like, oh, I guess this is how it's done. Okay. And so we just accept it because we're unconditionally accepting when we're so young. We haven't developed the muscle of understanding discernment of what is love and what is not love. And so we don't have that. So we accept it and we continue playing those patterns with ourselves and with other people. And that's what I truly believe needs to be looked at, right? Is what our relationship is with ourselves, what kinds of things we say to ourselves, how we say those things to ourselves. And that's a direct representation of how others, or what others said to us when we were really young, in which case then that may have something to do with how we treat other people. And not to then go into the negative of like judging yourself for it, but just be willing to look at it. And if that's something, if you would like to have better relationships in your life and more fulfilling relationships, then that's where you have to look. You're not going to be able to transform it any other way until it's transformed within you. And that's just the truth. That's just real. But are we willing to look at those things and say, okay, that's not how I want to have a relationship with myself. That's not how I want a relationship with anybody else, right? And when we can actually do that and be committed to that, we get the gold out of it. You drop all of the anchors. You transform those subconscious patterns. You get to fully step into who you authentically are, right? Your beautiful, amazing radiance,